Good morning. If you don't know me, good morning. I'm Reverend Elisha. I'm the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Cruz. I do use they and them pronouns. My ancestors come to us, immigrated to this country, we know, from Ireland, Scotland, Austria, and Holland. I also have ancestors indigenous to the Americas and truly from many places all over the world. Let's begin with a few breaths, shall we? Exhale it all first, let it out. Oh yeah, there we go. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Let's breathe in again. Breathe in. Let it go. One more together. Let's breathe. And let it go. And so, as many of you know, our theme across Centers for Spiritual Living globally this month is Glow Up, which I think is quite appropriate because how many of us were out yesterday in some way or another bringing the energy of love, of resistance, of joy? It was remarkable to be on the streets of Santa Cruz yesterday, folks. I read that somewhere that they're estimating about 15,000 people showed up in Santa Cruz downtown yesterday for No King's Day. And another 1,500 or so in Watsonville. I read 18,000 people across the county came out for yesterday's demonstration. And I want to point out, one of the things we talked about before, we know anytime 3.5% of a population gets out on the streets and sustains and maintains that energy, we hit that 3.5% in June when we had that first push, right? I did a little math, looked up I'm a nerd, okay? So I looked up the population of Santa Cruz County. For 3.5%, we needed 9,660 people to show up, which means we hit 7% of the population of Santa Cruz County was out on the streets yesterday. And that happened across the nation, folks. We have some of our folks who are traveling, who are in small towns, who are in Cambria, who are in Oakhurst. I'm getting messages. People were out in the streets. I'm getting messages from my minister friends in Indiana and in Florida and in New York and in Oakland. Everywhere, people were out, folks. And you know what I noticed yesterday? It was joyous. There was so much celebration. There was so much joy. The energy, the vibration was so high. And I'm loving that we're in this month, we're talking about glowing up, right? That we showed up as a community to truly shine our light, which is our task right now, right? And tomorrow is the holiday of Diwali, which actually begins. It's a 5-day festival of lights that's celebrated by Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, and Buddhists across the world. And it's a 5-day ceremony, a 5-day holiday of lighting candles and bringing the light forward. And the word Diwali, roughly translated into English, literally means a line or circle of lights. And Diwali is a holiday that's about celebrating the triumph of good over evil, of light over darkness, right? And so how perfect that we're in this month of Glow Up, that No King's Day was truly a joyous celebration across the nation, and now we get to step into Diwali over the next number of days. And truly, as we move from Diwali into the rest of the year, as we move into the descent of darkness towards winter solstice, what is our human tendency but to glow up? Right? We're going to have Diwali, we're going to have Hanukkah, we're going to have Christmas, we're going to have solstice, we're going to have all of the various festivals of light that all of the world's traditions celebrate as we move into the descent of darkness, as we move towards that darkest point. And so let that kind of be our lesson for our glow up right now, is perhaps we may perceive that our nation, that our world is moving into this time of darkness. We don't know when this thing's going to turn around. We're probably going to keep descending in the direction that we're going before this thing turns up. But there's an invitation for us, right? It's as we perceive things getting darker, what is our job but to light up the scene, right? And this week's theme is specifically about inner illumination. Because we can't shine our light out there unless we're tending to the light in here, right? And that the cultivation of joy, the cultivation of hope, the cultivation of happiness, the cultivation of love and compassion, that's how we build that inner light within us. And when that light is so alive in us, when it is truly tended to, when that spark, when that flame of the truth of who you are is truly illuminated from within, you can't help but shine it out into the world, right? And one of the things that I know is that oppressive, authoritarian, fascist regimes cannot exist in the face of joy and hope and love, right? These things, these mindsets, they thrive on fear. They thrive on division. They thrive on that hatred and that tension. And if we're not willing to let that into us and we are able to hold the light, then we become that thing that pushes that force out and holds a higher vibration, right? And as I watched the demonstrations across the nation yesterday and felt the energy that was here, one of the things that really kept sparking for me is that what we're witnessing in our world, this awakening, this transformation, this war, this battle that seems to be everywhere, is potentially the very thing that evolution is calling from us right now. Because the work, the battle, is a battle between love and hate. It's a battle between fear and hope. It's a battle between oneness and separation. And all of the spiritual traditions that I look to, all of the models that I've been trained in, almost all of them tell us that the core work for us is to shift our thinking from fear-based thinking to faith-based thinking. From fear to love. Right? And that every single one of us, I guarantee you, in some way has that task upon us. Right? Somewhere in your life, there's some fear going on that a little bit of faith, a little bit of love, a little bit of hope would probably help you shift your perspective. Right? Whether it be in our relationships, whether it be how we hold what's happening in the nation, our work is to shift from fear to faith, to get out of the despair and into the hope. Because when our minds are on hope and our minds are on love, no matter what's happening around us, that can't be taken. Right? We've all sung that chant here before. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world can't take it away. Right? This light that I have, it didn't come from outside, and nothing outside of me can steal it. Right? And we know from people who've lived through some of the darkest moments in history, people who we look up to, whose names live for generations, people like Mandela, right? People like Viktor Frankl, who've lived through the darkness, who no matter what happened to them, no matter what position or situation they were put into, the thing that they never let go of was hope. The thing they never let go of was a vision. The thing they never let go of was love. And both of those people who I just mentioned, both Nelson Mandela and Viktor Frankl, do you know what they found in their imprisonment? Was love and compassion for their captors. They found the love. They were able to sit and say how horrible it is that you are in such a situation that you believe that this is the right choice. And I have compassion for whatever has happened in your heart and your mind to shrink your consciousness to such a place that this is what you think is right. And that the only thing that's going to expand that awareness is the ability to hold these people in love. Right? That, you know, and I say this probably almost every week, but Dr. King tells us, right? Darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot put out hate. Only love can do that. And so if we see darkness in the world, our job is to cast a light. If we see hatred in the world, our job is to love. Our job is to love. Right? And I am so grateful to Portland, folks. Can I tell you, watching the hilarity and the absurdity and the joy be the weapon of this resistance is magnificent. Right? To watch people in their little blow-up suits, and I saw the frogs and the dinosaurs and the things and the chickens downtown with us here. I mean, they're multiplying, right? And it kind of made me think of, when Moses goes to Pharaoh's like, let my people go, and he's like, no, plague of frogs, right? And so the frogs are multiplying, right? And the plague is upon the land, right? But it's hilarious, it's joyous, and it's absurd. And the thing that I love about the inflatable costumes is that there's this puffed up, inflated absurdity that's standing in the face of this puffed up, inflated absurdity. Right? And so we're meeting it right where it's at. And it's hard to hate something that's hilarious. Right? When someone's coming at you in a cute little costume and you're trying to be, it's like, this is the way we diffuse this. Right? We meet it with something that is so different than the energy that they're coming at us with that it breaks the code. Right? And that if we show up in love and in joy and in beauty, singing our songs and dancing in the streets, maybe that will shift the consciousness of these people who think that we are violent. It's going to cause the mirror to reflect back. Because we're not meeting with the same energy. We're glowing up. We are calling forth the light and the love and the joy. And again, to be in such a celebration. I was so high all day yesterday. I had to go home and clean and run around the house, and I did not get to sleep till late because the energy was so alive. And I'm sure many of us felt that, right? And I want yesterday's demonstration to be something that we can all tune back to feel the joy of this resistance, to feel the power of this love, to feel the unity that is actually here. And I know that there are people in power who think that perhaps they have some sort of mandate from the people. I'm going to tell you, when I look out, I see the people are unified. I see a unified consciousness rising up that is growing in power, that is growing in joy, that is growing in numbers, that this thing is going to tip the scales, right? And that we now have, each one of us, a little maybe bit of a mental equivalent, a little bit of a boost in our step, a little bit of a charge, so that we now feel that we are not alone, that there is a united consciousness coming together, that we are awakening to the more of us. And this battle between love and hate, this is potentially the awakening that all of the people who've come before us have ever talked about. So there's going to come a time where we wake up, where Christ comes back, where the age of the Aquarius, or blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a story about a time when we all wake up, right? And I'm pretty sure that comes to us in our darkest moment. That in a time where to be called woke, it means to be awake. It means to be conscious. It means to be paying attention. And so when I hear people saying we're going to wage a war on anything woke, we're going to wage a war on people being awake and conscious and compassionate? Right? That's what they're seeking to do, but what that's happening, that's awakening something within us, right? Because suddenly we realize how important this is. And many of us in this room, in this county, we've lived in the privilege of the systems that have surrounded us, that have allowed us to be comfortable, to have all the wonderful things that we have. And maybe for some people, it's been pretty easy for at least a couple decades not to pay attention to some of the problems. That's not the case for everybody. But what's happening is that everything is rising up and it's getting our attention. That everything is becoming so uncomfortable that we can't not move. And perhaps all of these powers of darkness and division are rising up to truly wake us up. And it's only in the face of absolute unconsciousness that we find our consciousness. It's in the face of this inhumanity that our humanity is being called forth and awakened in whole new ways. And perhaps a new humanity, a new level of compassion, a new level of awakened consciousness rises from this. Because the thing I know from the history of evolution of life on Earth is that every time there is a great crisis, every time it seems that a species might be on the brink or the end of something, guess what happens? A great big leap happens. A great big new level of organization and working together emerges. And so perhaps we're moving through a time where we are being pushed to a catalyst moment where we get to rise up and become something more, to awaken to a whole new way of being and seeing with each other. And perhaps all of the systems that haven't been working, that are being dismantled right now, in their decay and in the breaking down, there's an opportunity to recreate everything. Right? I saw an interview with Pete Buttigieg a little while back, and he was talking about, I'm not happy with all the things being dissolved and taken apart and defunded and all the things. But he said, no one in their right mind would create any of these systems as they are right now if we started from scratch. So maybe, as everything's being dismantled, we are now being given an opportunity to reinvent, recreate, reorganize the whole system. And, you know, my teacher, Jean Houston, for the last 50 years of her teaching career, the one thing that she always talked about was this time we are getting ready to move through of whole system transition. Whole system transition. That means that every single thing that wasn't working in all of the systems of the planet, in all the systems of society, in all of our ways of interacting, all of the ones that weren't working have to be broken down, dissolved, reorganized, and then brought forth brand new. And that also has to happen within each one of us. Because we have to break down the paradigms, the thinking, the ways of doing and being, the ways of being comfortable. All of those things have to be shifted within us because we can't operate in a new system unless we've, so to speak, downloaded the new operating system. Right? And I don't know about any of you, but anytime I get an update on my phone, it takes a little while to get used to the new system. Right? That thing's not where it was before. And so we're going to go through some times of going, this does not feel normal. This is not what I'm used to. We have to get used to doing things differently. And so this time of transition is upon us. And our job is to glow up, right? Is to continuously speak to Pharaoh, let my people go. And every time they say no, we're going to show up with the frogs and with the whatever, all of it. We're going to show up and we're going to keep bringing it because our joy, our laughter, our dancing, our resilience, our love, this is what we have to work with right now. And I tell you, friends, I think it's working. And we have to keep it up. This is not just a, yay, we all showed up yesterday, now we did it. It's like, no, this is the beginning. And it's going to continue to be the beginning. And we got to keep growing this movement. We've got to keep lighting up. We've got to keep keeping our minds, as we said last week, we've got to stay upstairs, right? Keep our mind in the upper room. Stay in that highest place of consciousness. Look for the love, look for the compassion, look for the joy. Find it, cultivate it, build it, keep it alive. That's the source of your inner inspiration and your inner light. Keep that fire burning. And let the entirety of your practice be about keeping your joy alive. You ready for that? Yeah. You in it? You here for it together? Yeah. All right, friends, let's go into prayer. Heather, would you come up? So, friends, let's take a deep breath. And let's just drop in for a moment. I'm going to invite Heather up to join me. And help us just drop in. And as the sound washes over the room, let us feel that vibration. And just drop into this space together a little bit deeper. And so as we breathe, I first just speak a word reminding each one of us that what I know is that there is one light, there is one life, there is one power, there is one presence that is living and breathing throughout the entirety of the universe. And I know that this one is intricately and intimately interwoven into every aspect of existence, from particles to people to planets, to solar systems and galaxies, to conversations, to civilizations. That all of it is the activity of this one life bubbling, percolating, moving throughout the universe. And what I know is that this one life is breathing, participating in all of existence. And so as we breathe, let us remember that we are being breathed. That this power, that this presence, that this infinite being who can create worlds, who drives all of evolution, is coursing through each one of us. That the same power that creates worlds, we use to create our worlds, to our words, to create our choices. And I celebrate the collective power that is emerging. I celebrate the emergence, the celebration, the joy, the demonstration, the protest. I celebrate the way that our nation and our world is showing up in this moment, that there is a rising up, that there is an expansion, that there is an evolution that is taking place, and it's happening in each one of us, that that inner light is awakening. As we remember that there is not enough darkness in the world to put out the light of one small candle, and that each one of us carries that light, and that we are multiplying, that we are magnifying, and that as we hold that light together, that light gets brighter. And so let us just take another breath, and maybe even place our hands on our hearts, and take another breath. And let us remember that that heart is being beat by the one life. And that right now we are in the overlap of the magnetic field from each other's hearts. And let us be expanded by that. Let us feel the collective heart of this room. Let us feel the collective heart of our city, of our county, of our nation, and of our world. And when we tap into that heart, let us feel its joy, let us feel its celebration, let us feel its compassion and connection. And we open, open, open. And so I just speak a word of gratitude for each one who is ready and willing to glow up, to shine our light. And let our light shine so bright that it truly washes and purifies the land. Let the light of God shine through our eyes, our words, our choices, our votes, our marches. Let the light shine forth. I am so grateful for this beloved community, for the ways that we come together, hold each other, celebrate, and lift each other up. And so let us move back to the breath, to surrender to the one who is breathing, to feel that inner light shining, to let go, to let God, to know that evolution, that forward movement, that expansion is at work, and that we are waking up. And so we breathe in, and we let it go. And let's say together, and so it is. Thank you, my friends.